Hi. I'm starting to get to a Kendrickian place with Tyler Perry. I'm getting to the point that I'm about to write a diss track. Cause my God, it was but a few months ago when I was coming on here to talk about his, at the time, latest movie that he had come out with called Mea Culpa. And I've made a video on that and talked about that. And it's only been like 3-4 months. And now we're talking about his newest movie to come out now on Amazon Prime, Divorce in the Black. He is so fast. He should take his time. Or maybe stop. Take a load off. Relax. This movie stars Megan Good and Tia's ex-husband, and the story is exactly what you think it is. Because it's a Tyler Perry movie. Ava, a young bank professional, is devastated when her husband Dallas abandons a marriage she is determined to fight for until fates intervene, revealing Dallas's wicked deeds that have trashed their marriage and once upon a time sabotaged Ava's destiny to be loved by her new What in the run-on sentence? Ava, a young bank professional, is devastated when her husband Dallas abandons a marriage she is determined to fight for until fates intervene. We could have perioded somewhere. Until fates intervene, revealing Dallas's wicked deeds that have trashed their marriage, period, or no, and once upon a time, sabotage Ava's destiny to be loved by her true soulmate. This shit is terribly written. It looked like I wrote it. And that's not a compliment. I don't proofread. I considered foregoing this video partially because it is what you know it's gonna be. Because again, it's a Tyler Perry movie. It's gonna be some woman who is being abused by one man, most likely thrown away by that one man or cheated on by that one man, but definitely abused in some way by that man. She's gonna leave, find a new man who doesn't do any of those things, and then there's gonna be a tussle, somebody gonna die, and then there's gonna be a lot of singing at church. There'll be a lot of like, God didn't want this for you, baby, and then that's it. But yeah, it was a movie that I didn't feel like I had much to say because we've seen this movie before from Tyler. And I've talked about this over the years, how I find Tyler Perry very fascinating. And it was funny 4 years ago when we were doing like a Fall from Grace where he was making garbage. And I'm just like, hey, please sit down. You need to let somebody else write something. You need to let somebody else direct something, do something. All that money you've made with these terrible movies, please fund another black person to make a story. But alas, we're here with another directed, written, edited Tyler Perry movie. I don't know if he edited it, but it's definitely written by him and or AI. So I was gonna skip it because it's very skippable. But I saw the clip that's going around where essentially Tyler Perry is calling critics of his work, what was it? Highbrow Negroes? They're arched, so I guess so. Man, I have to make this video because the funniest part about that is he goes on this whole diatribe about how his stories have helped people, and I'm not saying they haven't. You know, I've seen my life on the screen when you write like this, and, you know, you really touched me. But my thing is, one, ain't nobody said that you couldn't make work that touches on trauma. We said, can you do something else? Can you write about something else other than this? You just keep writing about this? About a black woman being tortured in an emotionally abusive relationship with a black man and church and singing like, goddamn, can we get a different movie? Can we get a new movie? And I defended you with acrimony, all right? Because I get it. We're like, oh, black women aren't allowed to just be angry. It's like a show of angry black women. But I defended you for that movie because I said, in fairness, black women should be allowed to be angry. But now I'm tired. You don't make nothing else. And I have bills to pay, so I'm making a video about it. But I'm not gonna be happy about it. It is getting to the point that it's so redundant that I almost don't want to do it anymore to prove a point. Like every Tyler Perry movie, not every Tyler Perry movie, but certainly in the last 5 to 10 years has been worth missing. I think some of his other work, the Medea plays and, you know, early works where things were a bit more novel and he was kind of making a name for himself. Fine. You did that story, but you keep doing this story. Like, oh my God. And not only are you doing this story, you're doing it worse progressively each time you do this story. Not just because it's not a new story, because you've done it a million times, but because it feels like you can see where you've stopped giving a but you know your formula. And so you keep making this shit. Again, I just talked about Mea culpa, dookie booty ass movie that was. I will say the newest maybe component of some of his works in the last few years is his like exploration into female sexuality, which I kind of talked about in the Mea culpa one, was a bit awkward and unfamiliar for him. Not because he doesn't do those things in his work, but because it looks unfamiliar. It looks strange, like in his work. I just really need him to use some of that money to uplift other stories, maybe. The irony, he'd be like, who are you to say that we can't say what stories can be told? We're saying the exact opposite. Tell other stories too. Literally let somebody else write. Give some money so they can make another movie, please. But whatever. But yes, we're gonna talk about Divorce in the Black, another movie about a black woman done wrong by a man and her church and whatever. I will say though, I'll give this movie one thing. I had hopes for this movie because of the first scene. It was so unbearably, unspeakably, campishly terrible that I got excited. I got excited and I sat there knowing, again, what I'm getting with Tyler Perry, but I was hoping it would be so campish throughout the entire thing that it would be, in some ways, a refreshing experience. But nope, just another boring ass Tyler Perry movie. I'm gonna drink a seltzer. This one's lingonberry elderflower, and we're gonna complain. Hi, I'm Kendall, by the way. If you're new around here, welcome. Not new around here. What is up, home skill biscuit? I took a hot minute to say that. Hi, I'm Kendall. We're talking about Tyler Perry, and you're going to watch this ad. Thank you. Hello, everyone. This is Odd Roll Kennie, and today's video is sponsored by Warby Parker, the makers of stylish and impactful designer quality eyeglass wear. Warby Parker makes obviously gorgeous glasses and sunglasses, as well as provide vision tests and exams at your local Warby Parker store. You can buy and customize their gorgeous glasses online or in store, and for every pair sold, they give a pair of eyeglasses to someone in need via their Buy a Pair, Give a Pair program. I ordered 2 pairs of glasses from them for today. First of all, let's talk about this. Y'all know I love a big glasses. I have a big face, so I like big glasses, and it makes me feel doe-eyed and cute. They have the cute little sky blue wings. Sure, on the side. I think these are going to be my new favorite glasses. Also got these bad boys, which are more of a standard for what I usually go for, but they're a really cool color. I don't know if you can see that they're like a gunmetal. I'm actually pretty familiar with Warby Parker as a brand. I actually buy some of my favorite sunglasses from them. And I bought those at a store, like a Warby Parker store, before I even knew we were working together. I was like, girl, baby, yes, I know them. I love them. Don't even worry about it. I've also gone to Warby Parker to get an eye exam. And that is the quickest eye exam I've ever had in my life. I don't know if she had to go to lunch. I don't know, but it was $85 and she had me out of there in 83 seconds. I say all that to say I love my glasses from Warby Parker. I think they're very, very cute. They're very innovative. They're eye-catching. And they're not super expensive because Warby Parker glasses start at $95 and include prescription lenses with a anti-reflective, scratch-resistant coating. So if you would like to check out Warby Parker and upgrade your eyeglass style, baby, you can check that out with the link down below or the QR code that's floating around my big old head somewhere. And if you do that, you get 15% off when you order 2 or more prescription pairs, either online or in store. Big thanks again to Warby Parker for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery. So again, the one thing that gave me hope in this movie was the opening scene. Wild as it was actually very, very funny. And I unironically liked it. Not because it's good. Again, Tyler Perry's movies, quality-wise, are getting progressively worse. But it had so much going on that people like me found a giggle out of it. So the movie opens at a church in the South. And the pastor's preaching. Sorry. There's a few things that we learn either through context or just really out there, very explicit exposition very quickly. This church is currently holding a funeral service for a man named Cody Bertrand. And Cody Bertrand is the brother-in-law of our main character, Ava. Ava is married to the deceased's brother, Dallas. Okay? Dallas Bertrand. Ava's father is the pastor preaching this day on the death of Cody Bertrand. Okay, follow me, family tree. And throughout the service that is meant to send off this man. You know, it's his funeral after all. The pastor gets something in his spirit tells him that he should take this opportunity to tell the deceased's family, the Bertrand family, and by proxy his son-in-law, that your brother is in hell. Your brother in hell, and he's looking up from hell and hoping that you get the message that you have to change your lives. Apparently, the Bertrand family was notorious around the area for causing mayhem and havoc. They were criminals. They were rapists. They were murderers. They were robbers. That was who they were, and that's what they were known for. And the only reason the pastor's family believes why Dallas finished high school at all and didn't end up in a life of crime was because he's married to good girl main character Ava. The deceased, Cody, died trying to rob an old woman who ended up shooting him dead. Queen shit. It was very funny because, again, you're watching a funeral and the first thing this say is, you know that in hell, right? He is burning on fire. He can't even get ice. That's it.
So that they would not wind up where he was, in hell.
So as you can imagine, the Bertrand family, the deceased family, does not take it very well. Even before we know about the crime that the family takes part in, they're also a very rough around the edges type of family. Right? The matriarch of the Bertrand family says in this moment that y'all have always looked down on us. We thought you were going to run this funeral and say nice things about my boy, but y'all think y'all better than everybody. You're always looking down your noses at everybody. And I know you think your girl, Ava, your daughter Ava, is the reason why my sons or anything, but you. And y'all always look down at us because you got money. She started taking her clothes off. She started taking her clothes off. I thought she was about to whip a titty out in the middle of the church. I was like, oh, okay, camp. Okay. All right. Where is this going to go? She started taking her clothes off because they're hand-me-down clothes from Ava's family, the pastor's family, that they had given the mom for this event. But though she does not get booty butt naked, it makes more sense than what happens after that, because immediately she is angrily screaming to the other brothers, the Bertrand family, to get him out. Did I call him Cody? His name is Corey. It doesn't matter. The dead guy. She's like, get Corey out of there. And they start to lift up the casket to take him out. But then she says, no, I said, get him out of there without the casket.
Not the casket. Take him out.
So they take his raw body out of the casket, put it in the bed of the pickup truck, and drive away. And that's how the movie started. And I was like, oh, if this is what I'm watching, that's hilarious. Let's keep going. Maybe I have some faith in you, Tyler Perry, yet. Shouldn't have did that. So again, Ava, our main character, Megan Good, who is an interesting person to cast as the wife of an abusive man, but that's neither here nor there. She's married to Dallas. Dallas, as you can imagine, is a great time. Ava's parents, the preacher and first lady, have always opposed their marriage. They were young when they got married, right out of high school, and they feel like Ava had always given up her dreams of track for him, but she's, very much so indoctrinated in some of the more traditional church beliefs of sticking a marriage out, regardless of how terrible he treats you, the covenant, yada yada. Partially because of, teaching from the church, but also because her parents were in a relationship for very long and she aspires to that. So she's like, I want to keep fighting for us. So after the funeral, she goes to find her husband, Dallas, at his family's trailer park, incestual trailer park. Apparently they bury their dead in the front of the trailer park, and that is now where they've put the deceased's body. So she finds Dallas in an old car that he was fixing up when they were kids, and she starts reminiscing, and he's like, I don't want to hear all that shit. I just buried my brother, which fair. And he's like, this is the last time I'm gonna let your family embarrass me. Which honestly, yeah, I think that's a fair thing to be upset about. We couldn't just sing some Negro spirituals and call it a day. No, he had to go on a whole diatribe about how I just came back from NOLA, so pardon me if my accent goes back and forth. I was not there for long, but I came back with my NOLA accent being very, very thick, so. But anyway, yeah, he couldn't just sing a Negro spiritual. He had to go over there and be like, I know your brother just died. I hope you know that in hell, burning to a crisp. Well done. Silly. You can just say God is good, God is great, and call it a day. What the fuck? Now, again, Dallas is drunk, and this is a reoccurring thing. He seems to drink a lot and then get belligerent afterwards. He goes on about how she's always tried to change him, and he like says, get the hell out of the car, I don't want to see you. And she gets out of the car, and he eventually makes his way over to a pool hall, again drunk as a skunk, and she eventually goes over there and tries to drag him back to the house. On the way out, she ends up running into Paul Bunyan ass, sexy ass. His name is Benji. He fine as hell. Big as Apparently they know each other. They grew up together, went to the same high school, and obviously there's some chemistry. So this is gonna be the other guy already. Very quickly, we know. And here comes Dallas, drunk and belligerent, wanting to fight, which is hilarious because this man is 48 inches taller than you. That is wild. But okay. He comes out with his brothers and they trying to fight this like 6'12". The owner of the establishment starts saying like, hey, everybody, don't start nothing, and kind of shoos them away, even though obviously the brothers were looking for a fight with this man for standing and existing and talking to Ava. In the middle of the night, Ava finds Dallas drunk on the bathroom floor, semi-conscious and bumbling about how she told me to kill my daddy. Not suspicious at all, and we do not come back to this for a very long time. He starts crying about how he ain't no good. And that he never ain't gonna be no good. He ain't shit, he never be shit. And then the next morning he just acts like he did not do that, and he like whatever. And he goes about his day as normal. Ava has a best friend. Her name is Rona. And Rona is married to Dallas's best friend. Keep up. And she also works with Ava at the bank. So they carpool together. And during the carpool, Rona is going about like, man, ain't you tired of Dallas's shit? And Ava is like, well, the reason I put up with all of his abuse is because I know why he's like this, because he had a lot going on, and I learned more about his upbringing, and it brings me to tears, and yada, 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 which is not a reason to sustain abuse, but I digress. Once her workday is over, Ava comes back to the house, and Dallas is rushing her to get ready so that they can meet up with Rona and her husband for a double date. And deciding that her taking 15-20 minutes to get ready takes too long, he leaves without her for the dinner. Ew. Small thing in the larger scale of terrible things that this man ends up doing, but it's just ew. That would have been ugh. What do you mean you left without me? And luckily Rona at the restaurant is like, where's Ava? And then he said she was taking too long, so I left without her. She is like, as am I, like, ugh, gross. Then when Ava gets there, Rona is like, okay, I'm about to tell her that is completely inappropriate that he treats you like that. And Ava is like, if I'm not mad about it, you can't be mad about it. Like, come on, let's just go. Russet is knocked out. She is right there on my couch between the pillows, and that's why I have to always look where I'm sitting, because I will squish her because she blends in behind the pillows. Anyway, so what would have been obviously an otherwise pleasant night is not so pleasant, because Dallas gets drunk and belligerent, and during this particular conversation he decides to yell and scream at the table that he wants a divorce.
Ready, get somebody, get down there and look at it. Sign the damn papers, Ava. Fuck y'all looking at?
Great. Ava is distraught on the drive home with Rona. She's like, what am I gonna do? I tried so hard. I'm pushing 40. No one gonna want 40-year-old the but Rona is there trying to cheer her up and refute all the terrible things that he's been saying about her, and really whittling down her self-esteem. And she gives Ava a list of all of the terrible things that she knows of that Dallas has done during their relationship. And she's like, I need you to look at this on plain paper. You are better off without him. Distraught by soon to be a divorcee, Ava decides to go to her parents' house, who is about an hour and a half away from where she is in the city. I know, right? How dare she walk in the hallway? Bit of float, right? I know. So she goes there to get some comfort from her family during this rough time. And she's obviously rattled because she thought she did everything that you're supposed to do as a wife. Again, all of the like religious guilt and the guilt she feels about like her place as a woman and as a wife and how she tried and blah, blah, blah. She tells them that he wants a divorce, and they're there to like say, you shouldn't have been dealing with his shit anyway. And that's before the mama ends up finding the list of all the terrible things that he's been doing before things even went shit's up. Is that it? Is that an idiom? Everything went bad. On this list is basically what we probably would have expected, that he was abusive in many ways, physically abusive. Though mom knew that their relationship wasn't good, she didn't know it was violent. She didn't know it was that abusive. And she's like, I'm so sorry that you felt that you had to endure this. Like, I hope I didn't teach you to believe you deserve to be treated like this. And then they cry and whatnot. But the mom is like, don't tell your dad, because he will go and kill him. So what are we stopping him for? In the meantime, now that she's newly separated from a husband, her family, her parents, are very big on getting her in a new relationship immediately. Ain't even signed nothing yet. They're like, hey, I want you to get with the big, tall Paul Bunyan Benji dude. He's sexy. He also feeds hogs. He's a farmer. He has animals. Sometimes he volunteers at a petting zoo for little kids to come see his animals. And he incidentally keeps popping up at places that she needs to go. He goes to the church, goes to the same feed store. You can't miss him. Sexy ass. But again, she's going through a lot of trauma. She has a lot of healing, and jumping into a relationship, even with sexy Paul Bunyan dude over here, isn't probably gonna help. You know? So she gets very frustrated at her family for not like recognizing that I need some time right now, you know? Her parents try to remind her who she used to be before she dated Dallas. Again, they were high school sweethearts, and he was trouble back then as well. So was his family. His mother cut up at their wedding, and they have video of that. Seems that was a reoccurring thing at all important gatherings. Something popped off, and dad is like, I gave you a good example of how to love and be loved, and our marriage has never been like this, and why do you think that that's something that you should accept? Blah blah blah. What else? This movie's boring as hell, by the way. I didn't mention that, did I? Because outside of like the same arguments happening over and over and over again, and that one scene in the beginning, there's nothing happens other than walking and crying. I didn't raise you like this. And then that's the end of the movie. She runs into Benji at the state fair. They walk and talk. Listen to a very beautiful, like soulful country song. I would call it blues more than country. I guess country and blues are related. I was like, ooh. You can't go on like this. It was loud as hell though. They was trying to have like sentimental conversation, and you just hear this yelling in the back. I like this. I'm like, damn. But while the song is playing, we get some relatively important expository dialogue about how Benji also went to high school with them when they were teenagers, as one is when they're in high school. I don't know what. Anyway, Benji used to get beat up by the Bertrand boys because he had the audacity to talk to Ava when her and Dallas had periodically broken up. He would grow up to marry another woman and have one child. They eventually get divorced. That's a part of the experience of them reconnecting now that Ava's about to go through a divorce, because he's like, I know what it's like, you know, and I'm here for you. You know, they start to talk and the blues is playing, and she's like, I've never made love with anybody but Dallas. I want to try. I know you do. I get it. And he's like, when we make love, I want you to be focused only on me. I don't want you to do it because I'm different than Dallas, or like Dallas is the focus. I want it to be us. I don't know what it is about me talking about this, but I am craving sausage links, and that is not a sexual innuendo. I am actually craving breakfast sausage. Like, ooh, and a runny egg, some hash browns. You get wheat toast and it has butter on it, and you put grape jelly, hash browns with ketchup on it, and hot sauce, a fried egg, and then breakfast sausage on top. That will bust right now. Sorry. He's like, no, I don't want to have sex with you. I want us to like be focused on each other, if that's the case. And then after some time, she sleeps off the alcohol they were drinking whiskey. When she's in the back of the truck, and when she wakes up, she's like, you know what, you're right. I think that would be better, because I really don't have the mental capacity to focus on anybody but myself right now. But word gets back to Dallas that Ava and Benji had been seen together at the state fair. One of his brothers calls, and he's like, I told you she was always cheating on you, which she was not. She never cheated on him, but he decided in his mind that she cheated on him. So he's mad now. So he decides to come up to her job. What is my coming up to your job? The Capricorn in me is screaming. Like, ew, you couldn't wait? You ain't gonna embarrass me in front of we at a bank. He's like, you better get your lawyer and sign them papers. You better sign them papers. And Rona's also there, so she's like, get the out. And he's like, you trying to get fired, bitch? It's something about how campish that line was delivered, or something about the angle of the camera. Something about it is just funny as And once he's thrown out, we hear the title of the movie to explain why it's called Divorce in the Black. It's because Ava isn't going to try to get any money from him. She's not going to draw out their divorce or whatever. He ain't got no money, so how's she going to get some money from him? And she doesn't want to lose anything emotionally either. She wants to end this relationship, this marriage, in the black as opposed to the red. She wants them gone. So she comes to where they're signing off the papers, and she's like, I've read it. I don't need no lawyer. I don't need nothing. Just sign it and get this out of my face. And I thought her not reading with a lawyer was going to be more important. I thought it was going to be like a twist or something at the end. But as far as I understand it, no, they just was like, the lawyer that is there, he's like, are you sure you want to sign this without counsel? And she's like, I don't give a get him out of my face. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to come back and he like put something in there. But she's like, nope, I read it. This I don't want to see him no more. So Rona, as the good friend that she is, she decides to throw her a happy divorce party. They got strippers, they got drinks. Paul Bunyan comes. Sounds like fun. They dance to oldies. They have fun. But, you know, you can't have a good time because Dallas outside in the car in front of Rona's house. This is taking place at Rona's house. Remember, Rona's husband is Dallas's friend. So he come out and he's like, what the hell are you doing sitting outside of the house? Like, didn't you want a divorce? Like, leave her alone. And he was like, she was cheating on me. And he was like, no, she wasn't. Go home. So at the end of the night, Benji takes Ava home. I bet he does. He talks about how it took everything in him to not have sex with her that night in the back of the truck, but he ain't that strong tonight. He's strong every night. Oh shit, I have a boyfriend. I shouldn't say stuff like that now. He don't care. But she's like, if you're okay with it, you know, only being sex, you know, I'm almost 40, so. And I don't know why she said that, as if you stop working. Does it go on leave? Does it retire? I don't know why, but because this is my mind. The thought of a coochie retiring, I thought of like a coochie in a Hillary Clinton suit. Saying, it's been great. It's been real. Out on leave. The coochie work at a bank has a on leave sticker. I'm sorry. I don't know what that has to do with anything. They have sex, by the way, all over the living room. A bit more explicit, again, than usual in Tyler Perry movies, except for Mea Culpa, which was very explicit for a Tyler Perry movie. But, you know, he'd throw her against a wall, eat a little coochie, boop, 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 bop, 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 sleep there overnight. And just when everything is great, in the morning, she goes downstairs to find Dallas eating store-brand Cheerios in the kitchen. Honey Toasted Crunchies. What the f***? I don't know why that made me mad more than anything. You don't eat store-brand. There's certain things you don't eat store-brand, okay? Cheerios, Oreos, Cheetos. We don't do that, hon. She's like, Nick, why are you in my house? And he's like, I've decided to give your ass another chance. Which is funny. And she's like, I don't want it. Get out. Nah, I'm good. Get the out of my house. And he's like, oh, you big and bad now. You don't even sound like yourself. She's like, you brought out the bitch in me. You know, the Tyler Perry, like the speeches. You know what I'm talking about. The wrong woman. She gets a new man and realizes she don't have to put up with this shit. So she has to do like the speech. It's never particularly empowering, the speech. Have you noticed that? It's this like amalgamation of cliches. And it's like, oh, well, you've awakened the bitch in me. And this bitch is a strong black woman who doesn't need no man. It's like, girl, write something else. Write something else! Even give her something else to say! God damn! But he's like, I'm not leaving this house. This is my house. So he go running upstairs talking about he gonna take a shower, and he sees Benji in the bed. They start to tussle, which is up because he was just sitting there counting sheep. What the and he wake up to getting his ass beat. But again, he's like 48 inches taller than him now. So he chokes him out until he's unconscious. And so, exacerbated for having this man in her life, Ava, with the help of Benji, drags his unconscious body down the stairs and out her front door until Benji can pick him up, put him in his pickup truck, and she slaps him and tells him to get the fuck off her property and breaks the glass. Now, kind of find out that was all before work. It's funny because she'll walk away grumbling angrily, and it's very funny. She's like an old man. Imagine going through all that shit before 9 a.m. I would lose my mind. I just wouldn't go to work that day. But when she gets to work, he's outside of the bank stalking her. Again, here comes his friend coming out like, she was not cheating on you. Go home. Rona is like, okay, I'm gonna need you to get a restraining order. And originally Ava is not like looking to do it, but eventually she does do it because at first she's like, he ain't gonna do shit. But I'm like, yes, he is. He's abusive. He's always done shit. What do you mean? Granted, again, as I've always said, restraining orders don't stop bullets. So I get why you'd be like, I don't feel like doing it. Are you relaxing now? You chilling out now? I wanted to get her out because she's hot, but now she don't want to get out. Now Dallas, as you can imagine, is on his crazy shit. And what does a crazy in a movie have to do? He has to kill animals. So he goes to Benji's farm, poisons a bunch of his animals. His farm is near the pastor's house. So the pastor is one of the people to first notice. And he's like, oh my God, this Dallas done poisoned the animals. But that's not all. Dallas also goes to the supermarket where Ava's mom is and goes to harass her while she's there as well. But she's able to get away and go back home without further disruption, I guess. You are so warm. Oh my God, please get out of my shirt. After harassing her mama and Benji, he comes back into town, decides to just walk into the friend's house, so Rona's house, while Rona, her husband, Ava, and Benji are there. They start yelling. Rona's like, I'm calling the police because you're violating a restraining order. And Dallas is like, wow, best friend, you sleeping with the enemy, y'all over here having cocktails. Does your wife know that you cheated on her with some bitch named Kelly? Rona is like, I already know about that. That was a long time ago. And they shoo Dallas away. I thought they were going to do more with this, but no. They just have like one more conversation later where she's like, it doesn't make me feel good. It makes me sad that we're having these conversations about this over again after something you did a few years ago. But it doesn't do anything to the extended like development of the story. It's just like, oh, okay. But they kick him out, not before he can threaten to shoot Benji. But I guess the climax of the movie of sorts is when Pasta Daddy comes home after going to the Piggly Wiggly or somebody. But whoever was in the grocery store that the mom was at informed him that Dallas had come and harassed her in the supermarket. And so he's like, I'm gonna go kill him. I'm gonna get my guns and I'm gonna go over there and kill him. And so mama started yelling. She's like, oh Lord, don't go kill. Oh my God, Lord Jesus, don't kill him. Don't kill him. So then she calls Ava and she's like, your daddy gonna kill him. Pastor Daddy goes up to the trailer, start talking shit to the mom and everybody. She's like, bring your boy out, I'm gonna shoot him. And then one of the brothers end up shooting him in the leg and they all come out and jump Pastor Daddy until he pass out and nearly dies. But luckily Ava is able to get there in time just before that happens. She picks up Pastor Daddy, now unconscious, and takes him to the hospital. And this seems to be her final straw. When her mom called, she was screaming about why Pastor Daddy was going to kill him, and it was because Dallas had harassed her in the supermarket. So she's aware that he has now harassed both of her parents, nearly killed her father. And so she gets on the phone and decides to talk about how much she wants to Benji on the phone with Dallas. Seems like an odd time, but okay. Come to find out, this is her attempt at baiting him to come to her home. So he gets there, she keeps baiting him, saying things like, oh, Benji's dick is 45 miles long. Yo dick is soft and it has the texture of peach rings. Ew. And this infuriates him enough that he strikes her, giving her scars. In the midst of him having his violent outburst, he also briefly goes into exposition about how his dad was abusive and beat on his mama, and that's why he had to kill him. I wish they would have went more into that. That was 2 sentences. 2 sentences for that entire storyline. That's my issue. Tyler Perry is getting lazy because he's not showing shit anymore. He just has people say things. That's it. He's not doing the job anymore. So yeah, she's like, oh, you gave me all the bruises that I need to show the police to show that you're abusive. So then she called the police. She's like, 911, my ex-husband got in my house and he been beating on me. And then she brings out her daddy's shotty and he's like, you ain't gonna shoot me. And so she shoots him. I will admit, him getting shot was funny.
Shoot me.
But I always think someone getting shot is funny in a movie. What else is new? That's just a low-hanging fruit for me at this point. And then the movie ends like super abruptly, like very strange. Like nothing really gets settled. It's just Pastor Daddy gets out of the hospital. He's still grimming the Bertrand family, who comes to the hospital for some reason, I guess to intimidate them because Ava has killed their son. But Ava just looks to them and says, let it be over. And then she walks out of the hospital and that's the end of the movie. Garbage, right? I saw it got like a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, and it deserves that. Tyler Perry, again, I think he thinks that criticism of his work is criticism of the concept of talking about tumultuous relationships, as if he hasn't done it already. He doesn't even really change up how he talks about that topic. Maybe talk about any other aspect of relationships. There's other things about relationships that are dramatic that can make a movie. Maybe consider, writing about a man's trauma every once in a while, or like, do something. Shit, this movie is painfully unremarkable, and that's not because it's a lowbrow story or whatever that Tyler Perry seems to think is what it is, and we're two, sedity highbrow negresses like myself, can't find the beauty or the value in stories of those lesser represented, which is hilarious, because that's not what you make. But I digress. He doesn't do that. He doesn't make documentaries. You don't make true stories. They're all shit that you've written yourself and have written before. That's so funny. Like, what are you talking about? And again, your lack of introspection? I don't know. Is it pride? Like, let somebody else write a story. It's getting to the point that it's debilitating. Your work is getting progressively worse, exponentially worse. And one could say, and this is a fair enough argument, bitches like me make videos about it regardless, so I make good work. And if that's the case, sure, but don't complain when people don't like it. Hello? Ugh. Nah, I've been complaining here, the sun going down. But yeah, that's Divorce in the Black. I would like to lie and say I wouldn't watch another Tyler Perry movie, but Lord knows one's coming out probably next week, so I'll probably will within the next month. Again, his work is progressively getting more and more unremarkable each time. Take your time. Maybe enlist some co-writers or co-directors or other people. But yeah, that's all for today, folks. If you like today's video, feel free to like today's video. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. Other stuff you want me to talk about? Other stuff you think I should look into? I have been watching Sex in the City. I am now on season 4. I hate every one of them bitches. Every single one. Not a single likable bitch. I was cool with Samantha at first, and then she started getting annoying. Miranda, I can take sometimes. Is that her name? Miranda? Matilda? Melinda? Miranda. The redhead one. Charlotte is a dumbass. And Carrie. Oh, don't get me started on Carrie. Jesus Christ. I don't know if I have extended enough opinions to make a video on that, but let me know if that even sounds interesting to you. I was just watching it in my free time. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.